Hello, you filthy mush eaters. Welcome to the Battle of Stones River, where 3 Union divisions and 3 Confederate divisions face off in a non-stop brawl to the finish. This is hands down one of my favorite battles to have ever recorded, so sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink. This is a wild ride from start to finish. First off, you might notice I am playing as the Confederate Army, which I haven't examined too closely, but I've fought the left wing enough times that I know what they're capable of. So that is who I am bringing to this battle. In the upper right hand corner, you'll see the expanded map that I brought up. And my entire division is here, slightly to the right of center. And I have an ally just to my left. Oh, I'm sorry. My right. Who's right over here. And we have one more division from a new player. This is his first multiplayer game. So I was like, dude, let's do it. You can come play with me. And it's just a great looking. Oh, he does a great job. You'll see. So our plan is when you look at this map, you can see these gold ones or yellow ones and twos. And those are capture points that you need to have by the end of the game if you're going to play for an hour. We decided early on that we were not going to take the hill at all. And because if you're going to go there, even with just a few troops, they're just not going to be where the main battle is going to be. So it just didn't seem important. Maybe if we were doing 4v4 on this map, we would make that an objective. But for here, we decide that we're going to go make our defensive stand, or our attacking stand, inside the forest, either side of the two. And I'm going to post up my entire division to the right of the two, stretching all the way to the turnpike. And my ally here on the left is going to stretch to the left of the two. And our ally on the right is going to advance over the open ground, past the one here, to the right of the forest to see what he can find. So those are our goals, what we all decided we were going to try and do when we started up. I really loved this match. I'm so excited to show it to you guys because it is so exciting in so many different places at the same time. It was wonderful. All right. So first of all, we're going to go take a look at the artillery that I'm bringing. And I knew when I saw the Stones River map that with whatever side that I wanted to, or that I was going to end up on, I wanted rifled artillery. Because I was not going to just hand this field of battle over to the Union. It just wasn't going to happen. So I'm bringing Dent's Alabama Battery, which is 4-gun, 10-pound Parrots. Morton and Hould's Tennessee Battery, 6-gun, 3-inch battery. McCant's Florida Battery, 4-gun, 10-pound Barretts. And Robinson's and Baxter's Battery, 4 guns, 3-inch battery. My whole plan here is just to duke it out with Union artillery. I don't care who shows up, but they're getting shelled. And I am lucky enough that we have this nice hill. Now, at the time, I didn't really look at it too carefully. And I initially thought that, well, maybe I'll put my artillery here and use kind of, this for help. I think in the future, the next time I play on this side of the map, when we look here, I'm going to place them right about here and let the Union artillery hit the other side of the hill because they'll be able to shoot from this direction if placed right here. But I move them up and they just duke it out. So my early advance force that's advancing towards the objective here Also, if you don't know who the left wing is, that is in reference to the Army of the Tennessee 1863 left wing that fought at Chickamauga. Left wing, right wing. And they also have Longstreet's Corps that was sent over there. They have that army list as well. If you're interested in ever doing the Battle of Chickamauga, it's there for you. All right. I actually pull, oh gosh, a Rosencrantz. It's embarrassing. All right. That happens in this battle. So for my Cav, I'm bringing the 3rd Kentucky with 209 men and the 2nd Georgia with 300. I felt like 500 would be a good amount of Cav to bring to kind of push into those woods. And supporting them is 3 units of sharpshooters, just to flush out in case there's other sharpshooters there. They can just help brush them aside. And the core of my infantry. I've got the 7th Florida, the 41st Mississippi, the 54th Virginia, the 37th Georgia, the 38th Alabama, the 43rd Alabama, the 36th Alabama, the 10th and 19th South Carolina, the 63rd Tennessee, the 5th Kentucky, 3rd Battalion Hilliard's Alabama Legion, 6th Florida, 18th Alabama, 19th Alabama, that's right, 28th Alabama, and the 50th Alabama. Those boys do good work. And my commander is Major General Alexander P. Stewart. We're going to hop over to take a look at the armies my allies are bringing. Over here on our left flank, he's bringing the 1863 Army of the Mississippi and all of its respected units. This is his first match. Oh yeah, my Cav. This is his first match that he has ever played, and so we will follow his career with great interest. And he's got plenty of artillery and some infantry and lots of Cav as well. So we already started talking, and he was going to send his Cav up to join me. And my other ally on my right flank is bringing the 1864 Army of Louisiana. A lot of Arkansas, Texas, Missouri boys. Yeah, I like it. He is bringing lots of Cav. Oh my gosh. A whole brigade. And that comes in very much in handy. One thing I want to talk about is he brought howitzers, which are great. But I'm up here, and I told him to move his Cav, because this was a bad idea. I was like, hey man, my dudes are here to duke it out with the Union artillery that's appearing here. So you need to move your cannons somewhere else where they're going to be safe. He does great work with these as well. It was very impressive. Alrighty, we'll take a look at what the Union positions look like, and then we'll hit play on going back to full speed. So Union artillery has moved up, and wherever artillery, when you start exchanging fire, is he's got all of his guns as well. These are all rifled guns, I think. Yeah. And he told me after the match that when he saw all of my guns, he was like, oh, okay. He's like, I guess this is what I'm doing, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to tie down his cannons from doing any other work. We've got even more guns back here in reserve. And look at this. Oh my goodness. It's the 1st Corps. Some of their guns, some of their advanced Cav. So their troops are back here somewhere. Oh yeah, here they are. All right. Let's head back to the skirmish battle. That is about to erupt. So I was advancing forward until I saw 4 regiments of cav coming up the road. So I was like, okay. And I tried to get them kind of in a formation to act as like a blocker. And I move these boys on out of here. I'm like, sharpshooters are going to be of no use back here. So these boys are getting in line. And this is just a lot of enemy cav. But I knew, doesn't matter. I've got my infantry coming up, so they can win this battle all they want. I'm just going to sweep that cav aside if my boys get there in time. Oof. They're breaking. Oh, yeah. And then comes the big charge. Oof. My poor boys. This engine was just never meant to have this many troops fighting. Oh my goodness. I think normal cav size in Total War is 80, is like the largest. Oh man. Oh yeah. More cav. Now they're all around us. The fight is heating up. And look, what's that? What's this down here? I didn't see that at first. So, I thought I still had some time. My cav's on the run, but I've got my infantry moving up. He was having his artillery go to this section, but I told him to leave him. It's like, it's not worth it. I'm going to take a moment. He's got his troops moving up. This is on the right flank. He's got his cav in reserve. And as you can see, the boys are... Oh yeah, there goes my cav. The boys are fighting for it. They're giving them the good old what for. Against many guns themselves. Alrighty. So I'm just going to remove this map here and let this play out. So, as I saw now his troops coming down the road, I was like, oh, I need to try and stack them like a cork and then stretch them out to the left. Because my ally's on the right-hand side. A whole unblocked division. Because we would be able to see if there was any enemy infantry there. So, knowing that and having that in mind, is I start to take my brigades and just line them up. And I know you've got to get them inside trees, first and foremost. Because if you don't, it's really hard to take trees when you're advancing over open ground. Your troops will suffer very dense casualties trying to accomplish that. So always get inside the trees as soon as you can and then start fighting. So you can see on the map, those 2 red dots over there that my mouse is pointing at are enemy cav. And oh, tragedy struck. My ally's general was killed by just being up here. He sent him forward, and the general will always run faster because it's a smaller unit. So it got up here, and he was just sitting up here by himself. He got murdered. So we've got looks like we're all pulling back, but I've got my infantry coming up, and I'm just going to let this fight develop here. One thing I noticed is since my ally's coming up on my right-hand flank, I didn't want him to establish a firing line right away.
Sir, I fear your general is in mortal peril, sir.
Yeah, they're always in mortal peril. And so we just have our boys go straight into it together. What's... Go down and take a look, since this is the real first action. Some of those Union boys filing in on the backside. And now the firing becomes general as the lines are spreading out and meeting each other. This is the first enemy contact we've had. We know where are the other two divisions, is what we kept saying. Where are they? Where are they? So, in my attempt to try and wrap around him, this was a critical mistake that I made. I should have kept my line straight, but I wanted to try and get around on his flank and bend him. But that is when I remembered that somewhere out there is two more Union divisions, and I was opening my flank forward for a counterattack. And I knew somewhere out here was these troops. So, both of our units on the right fall back. And my ally has his units in a nice long line along this fence line. So, my tricky opponent here, as you will watch, sees that I'm bending his line. He doesn't want to be in a U-shape. So he brings his general over, and he's about to launch a counterattack. When he launches that counterattack, he uses his general to reinforce the morale of his men. And I pull back an entire brigade as it happens. It was bad. It's bad. So I will just leave it here for posterity. Oh, no. The whole brigade got charged in the back. Because I moved my line at the last minute. Oh, it was so bad. So now the situation has changed. I'm trying to save the brigades that I have or move them over. Still haven't found that third division. But my ally is now forming on the right-hand side. I just told him he was worried about the cav. I was like, just brush them aside. They're cav. Don't worry about it. But here, oh no. The line is still broken. I'm trying to get reinforcements to hold back. I luckily get a break with these troops. And, yeah, it's just not a good time right now, watching all these guys break like this. But he would have flanked me, but it just would have taken a lot longer. And I'm trying to wait for my ally to catch up on my left-hand side. And he's not that far away. But I stick it to him, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I don't have anything else to do. So I'm going to try an attack on the right-hand side. because I'm just trying to apply pressure to him as my ally moves up and gets on the flank. I stabilized my line, mostly. He's trying to get around me. But I've got another unit coming up, and I sent my general to reform this brigade. He's going to come up here and save these boys. And I'll let this section of the battlefield, which is where all the fighting's going right now, kind of speak for the action that's going on. So here's my general right behind. He switches out. Oh, I thought he was about to switch out a regiment. I've got these boys lined up. Oh, yeah. Break! Almost. On the left flank, he loses 2 regiments as I've stabilized. I stopped worrying about this flank because my ally is supposedly coming. But, oh no! Take a look. It's an attack in Echelon. So, the next Union division is here. And, oh boy, oh boy. This is very unfortunate. So, here he comes on like a steamroller. And I tell my ally back here, I'm like, hey, this division is coming over the hill. And it's going to come down on top of you. They probably won't even bother to swing around to fight me. And I knew at this point that we came to a conclusion that whatever we did would be an all-out attack on this Union division until it was destroyed. And then we told our other ally to do the best he could to try and survive. Because there's still one more Union division out there. Alrighty. My brigade's getting back online here in the rear. He's bringing his general up. I decided to test his line. And so he's using his general over here. And he sees it as soon as it happens. The line opens up. And as soon as I see the line open up, I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. Because this kind of morale break, where these troops are almost breaking, is right when you need to push. So I start a general attack along almost the whole line. Because I know the pressure needs to be kept up, no matter what. My allies finally coming onto line.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Oh, yeah. Fighting here. Yeah, his general's pulling out. It's got to go. And it becomes a pullback, so I start moving everybody up. And I told my ally, get as close as you can. Let's get as close as we can and just try and shred him as fast as we can. And so that's my plan. And even though he's forced back these units on the left-hand side, overall he has to pull all of his units back because of what's happening here. And that starts the Great Hunt. So as that's happening, we're going to take a look on the left-hand side here. As the 2nd Union Division is swinging down. Now, I think they didn't all attack at once because they knew we had a guy who never played before. And the guy to my right has played some games. And I was answering questions about army builds and stuff for him. So I think that they thought attacking an Ekulon would be really cool. I think it was a fatal mistake on their part. And you'll see why as the battle develops. He starts to put his boys online. I initially pull back with these troops because I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to have to pull them back and form a new defensive line to the right or come down on the... I mean, something, right? Something's got to give. That's when we decide, no, let's reform, and then we'll go at him again. It's this poor guy. And remember, somewhere out there is the First Corps. Got some First Corps Cav back here. My ally here smartly left 2 regiments at this objective capture point, which is quite nice. His little reserve in the back. This Union Army's kind of getting in position. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my boys are fighting. So, it was to come back. I'm gathering the brigades once again. And we wanted to try and see what he would do, because reinforcements aren't coming to his relief. And I think at this pivotal moment, it's because we were pulling back, and it seemed like he would be able to hold, and this attack would be able to come down on our ally, and it would be a great win. But instead, it's just had me divide my army into 2 wings, a left wing and right wing. And I have them angled at 2 specific points. And that's it. It's on. Time to go. He begins his general advance. I begin my general advance. I get all of these boys going. I get some of my cav coming back. We do have units making it for the rear, where they'll reform. Let's take a look at the artillery situation. I would occasionally look at the artillery to see if they had killed someone. As you can see, one of those units is gone, and another Union artillery piece has replaced it. You can see them running off in the distance.
A unit has grown weary, sir.
So, I made sure my guns were always shooting. Having a great time. We'll take a look at... I mean, there's been a battle that's been going on out here with Cav. He's got some guns destroyed. He's been making kills. Alright. I'll head back to actually... He breaks these troops. And it is quite the sight. You can see me running. I mean, we're not far apart. We're kind of trying to accomplish the same goals. So, I'm regathering all of my troops. And here we go again. We're bringing the whole line. My ally also... Ooh, it was an accident. Is also using all of these 12-pound howitzers. And you can see all of those chevrons. Yeah, just like that. Oh, my poor cannoneers. They've been dealing with enough. So, here's where some of this Union Army fighting's going on. as they're keeping the rebels, 2 rebel divisions at bay. He's doing a fantastic job of keeping us at bay as I keep reorganizing my troops and throwing them back at him. Now, I have some troops that ended up over here, and I just left him to stay and shoot and fight. Because I was like, I don't know, maybe it'll slow him down. But my ally's reforming his troops. He's got them online. And the Union armies keep coming. And this is when we finally find out the First Corps is fully on the right-hand flank. And they're arriving. So, we'll take a look. Once again, we both bring our generals within close, and it's a general battle. Who's got the better morale? And I had moved my boys up, and he had charged his troops down onto my 3 regiments with his 2. I think to buy him some time, but I was inching my guys closer and closer. And man, you can see, look at this battle line. There's this driving a wedge between our scattered forces on the left as the First Corps is on line coming down like a door. Oh gosh. The line breaks. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go.
Your men have been routed, sir.
3 regiments all at once. And this was when I told him. I told my ally, I was like, move again. Let's go after him. He's still moving his troops. Holding these soldiers at bay. They're kind of stacking behind him. First Corps is slowly moving through, clearing everything out. But we still have some brave troops. Hold them off. We've got some skirmishers coming around. Alrighty. I have my troops. I decided to keep them here to see how long I could give them harassing fire. But over here at the front, it's a moving. And once again, I'm telling my boys, all right, let's go. Start gobbling up his running infantry as well. Can be kind of a hazard. And at this point, we can both smell it. We're like, we can destroy this division. There's just like, there's got to be some way, like where we can just get it right. Got, I think, 2 artillery left that are still pounding. 1 crew comes back. Yep, he's having to bring out even more guns.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Oof, I know. Right here in the middle. He sent some sacrificial lambs to hold off our boys. But all that did was open up this area for his 4 regiments to shoot right into his troops. So I was okay with it. At this point, I can see the end of his line. So I know I just need to get my boys closer. And I start looking at, I'm like, okay, I want to do 2 regiments, a Union regiment, to just overpower, and I still going to have line to wrap. So it's still what I'm focused on. And his boys start chain routing again. Now you can probably guess what happens right after this. Yeah, that's right. We start moving again. We're going to take a quick moment to jump over to my ally here and see how he's holding off. the Yankee horde. Kind of got them all squished together there. He's getting some units. And, yeah. It's got some cav. Remember, we still hold this hill. But now we're bringing units that have rallied to come back into it. Our ally, or not our ally, this Union general over here on the right flank, brings out skirmishers, cav, and artillery pieces. Becomes quite the show here in a hot moment. All right, my regiments are following behind these, capturing these troops, and it's giving them chevrons. We're so close now. Let's try and isolate and destroy. Pull these guys back. Now our balance of power, it's stayed the... I mean, it's gone down a little. It was kind of... It was against us from the beginning, but not that that matters. Alright. So, as a lesson be learned, don't take your artillery and put it out in the open when there's enemy cav running around. Normally, you take one cav unit and you bring it in this way, and then you have to bring in another one and bring it from the top and kind of like cycle around. And the reason we found out that you do that is because the damage stacks kind of artificially. And so if you have this, it's kind of stacking all of the attack power. I mean, they would have all died anyway because this is just so much cav coming in. But it's a good note to know. Alrighty. So we have both of our lines moving up. Not a whole lot of fighting, just gobbling up some units. But my ally, remember, his general is dead. He is duking it out with these Union boys. Oh my goodness. And supporting him is the Army of Louisiana's guns. And at a certain point, I also bring my own guns over and just start targeting them as well. Because why not? But for the time being, I'm still duking it out with those boys on the other side of the field. This is just... Oh my goodness. Yeah, pull out those regiments, because they'll get charged and they'll break, but they'll still reform. And as long as you give them time to rest and relax, they'll be able to come back and fight it out. Alrighty. So, we're trying... We didn't react fast enough when he started to pull back. We should have kept hot on his heels. But we were trying to decide what to do next, and we were like, all right, you know what, let's just kill him. Let's just end his two brigades here with his general, and maybe we'll take the artillery. You know, that, like, our big dream or something. But we kind of realized, you know, our own flank is pretty exposed, and where should we go? What should we do? So this is kind of our conversation, where we're kind of like forming up. And we decide, well, you know what? There's Union behind us as well. And not just any Union. These are some of those First Corps boys, so fresh into the fight. Those guys are right here, just north of the 2 mark. So, seeing this, we were like, all right, let's make a quick attempt to crush him, and then we'll come back. Because it doesn't matter. But once we saw him, like, leaving, we're like, I don't know if we just want to, like, chase him. But the good news is our attack forced them to limber up their cav artillery, which was nice. So these guns aren't shooting while our guns are shooting. So at this point, we were like, no, let's not chase him. It's not worth it. He'll come to us sooner or later. And we're going to march back up this hill, and now we're going to fight both Union divisions as they come online. But they're split as well. The Union Army is now in a V shape, with the remnants of a division. And so I told him, I was like, hey, I think they don't have all of their troops in the same area. If I engage his line head on, he could swing around him again and flank him. And that was our new goal. It's like, okay. And we stopped worrying about this guy in our flank over here. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because he was so small, we're like, we'll deal with him when he comes back. And so, I start moving my boys up the hill. Got my general. And I'm going straight at him once again. I want to take care of these First Corps boys myself. And then they still have a whole nother brigade on the other side. Who are these? Oh, yeah. The Black Hat Brigade. I think this is the 84th. Oh, man. Brutal fighters. They've got units moving around. He's reforming his units into nice defensive lines. But I think they realize... Alright. The Rebs are finally coming for us now. And we are. That's exactly what we're doing. He's also moved... My ally... Look at how many chevrons his artillery has. It's for the amount of people he's knocked out. So, us marching all the way over to the enemy artillery caused them to limber up. And when they got limbered, our guns hammered them. And they had to scatter. Got these guys over here, not shooting. Moving his general over with his guns. They move their guns to shoot us in these, but I didn't actually notice much damage from rifled guns, or from these guns, so I think they were rifled. They didn't really bother or concern me while I was playing. At no time was I like, oh man, these cannons are really ruining my plans. So, if they were Napoleons, that definitely would have been the case, because their explosive power is so large. But, First Corps starts feeding troops online. Ooh. Where are them ribs at? What a way to fight, man. Makes for great gameplay. Absolutely. Woo. All right. Yeah, look at that. This is all from capturing troops, which is why you should always do it when you get the chance. Just walk your boys right into them while they're running, and you'll get this. All right, so our new line of battle is forming. I told them, hey, this is the end of my line. You're going to have to pick up the slack there and work your way around. And that is when the new line battle is developing along the sides here. Now, if that's the case, if they're bringing troops and filing them in on their left-hand side, then they are not doing it on this side. And here comes my fatal mistake. This is a division total. Maybe a division and a quarter. Or a half, because... Now, maybe a division and... No, maybe like half of the first division. Or maybe 3/4. But I thought he had troops... Because I saw these, and I was like, oh, okay, so he must have troops and I can't see them. But that's not the case. I should have kept moving over. Sending sacrificial lambs to hold me back. I wasn't having any of that. So, the line starts developing. He's got his boys... More First Corps troops, more Louisiana troops, all filing online. And you don't need to, this is fine. But you can totally stretch your troops out. You can keep them in a dense block, but you can try and get as many muskets firing as you can. I don't always do it myself, so... Get these boys out of the way. Look at this. Oh! Looking at this video afterwards is so painful. To know that I could have just marched my whole... Oh. This whole brigade forward and just eliminated this one regiment. And then just marched around. But I thought there were troops there, but... That's what you get for not experimenting. You can always try. So he had to reorganize his troops, and that is when our old friends here in the back showed back up. Now they're pretty far, and they're having to shoot through trees. So I know their accuracy isn't that great, and I'm not too worried about it. And I don't think any of these regiments actually were worried about being shot in the back. But I knew something had to change. We both did. And so our idea became... Well, let's see if he'll get closer. If we ignore him and he gets a little riskier, then we'll both turn back down on him and charge him. And try and annihilate his force and then go back up. But what should have been tried was a left flank attack, because now that I look at this, I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 6 guys not fighting, really. So I bring these troops in to the top, and he's going to have his forces turn around to meet these troops. And this is when we're having the discussion about how we want to fight. And I do wonder what the Union was talking about. Oh, this just pains me so much to see this weak right flank now. Now, you're probably wondering what's been happening to our ally. Well, he's been pushed back and reorganizing all of his troops into a final defensive stand at the base of the hill. And he's got all of his troops marching back. So, what they thought would be enough troops to take him out and force him off has suddenly become a very big problem as we start bringing all that remains of our artillery over. And we put them on special shot and just let them rip. And that goes for all of our guns here. And he still has his. Union guns are only right back here in the back. So you can see, if you take a look at this map, it looks like we're about to get sandwiched. And he's about to get swept off this hill. This is when I start to move up. I'm like, hey, I'm going to clear this regiment out by just three-sizing it, and it'll run for a moment. And we decide to get closer. And they're trying to trade for time. Oof. Goes for... Oh, go for this epic Union charge here. Oh, yeah, just not happening. He's running low. And I feel like there always comes a time, you know, I'm starting to finally move. And I was like, you know, I'm getting close too. And now I bring units down. But I looked at this and I was like, God, I don't like this. Having this like unit for unit. I was like, I want to destroy them. So I made the decision and I pulled everyone back except for this brigade here at the top. So you can see as my units in blue are moving. Because often I find in this game that players do not react quickly. And I try and react as quick as possible. I feel like if my troops aren't moving, then there's something wrong. Because this is the basis of fire and maneuver. And if you're not maneuvering while troops are firing, then something has to be wrong. So I left these units at the top, which actually held themselves very well. And First Corps starts to move after me. But I had such a great head start that, and he sees it, right? There's nothing he can do. He doesn't even have the troops for it. And so I told my ally, I was like, you just need to push him. Like, I'm gonna come down on him and we can just push him out. And I know our balance of power looks bad. But let me show you something. He has all of his boys. So even though he has these units, and they're preventing him from joining us, right? The First Corps also has a fresh brigade coming online. So we've still got our artillery up. And the enemy does not. So it was just a brutal killing fields for these Union troops. Alrighty. I had enough of this dude. And I just sent in my troops in. And I was like, dude, that's it. I'm done. I will just cycle charge my next line until I break you. This part is unfortunate because I don't think these troops come back. Or maybe some of them do. But all I needed was one line to break. Just one of these. These boys are still holding out. I sacrifice one to delay 2 regiments and bring him back. And now, it's looking a little different. We're condensed more. Right? Trying to gobble up some of those retreating soldiers. But then we realized, well, his guns were there, and it would be bad. He's going to run to his guns and put them on canister. That's going to end up being a bad idea for us. So we looked back at these troops. We can see our ally is now doing great. First Corps is even coming down a little bit. But oh man. These brigades are really getting sacrificed. Let's take a look at this enemy section here. The First Corps. Alright. So we start At first, we were like, "Ah, let's we'll shoot at him as he runs." But that decision, we decide, no, let's keep moving. And so we got our troops moving again. At no point have we thought that we might lose so far. I'm still pretty confident. I've still got my general. He's got 4. He's down to 4 troops. And that's okay. So, at this point, you can see they're coming back. It's turning into a horseshoe. He's having his troops face forward. And I realize that I'm going to have to be the sides of this can, so to speak. So as that develops, because nothing too interesting happens while that's going on. Oh yeah, he's still holding strong. He's got the hill. We've got this artillery. Just raking them. Oof. He's using these for great effect for cover. This first corps. Oh yeah, here we go. The Black Hats have arrived. This is one of, if not the most elite unit in the first corps, the Iron Brigade. They have been hitherto engaged, clearing the objective and all of our minor forces that we had scattered around. Oh yeah, it's combined the entire Iron Brigade with the 84th. And whoever that might be. And quite a deadly combination. But his troops start to break, and it's time to run. So then it just becomes just the first corps here. Alrighty. Now we find ourselves in a predicament here. I start to bring in my right side troops in. He is now covering the front. I'll go through our very odd deployment. Oh yeah. Got some Union troops. I think he had he had an artillery piece here. And if you have a single gun artillery piece and you just point blank enemy units, they won't stand for that very long. Alrighty. The west side, or the top of our can here. Really getting up to them. And my boys, holding them here on the flank. Which is fine. I'm not too worried. I know this commander is so beat up, he's going to be cautious. But I was worried about First Corps. But when I saw the engagement happening on the other side of the field, I thought we might be able to catch him unaware. So I told my ally, all of your troops are on the front side. Draw them through my troops. And you can evacuate out the bottom where they have nobody guarding us. And as that happens, I will peel off my regiments one at a time to make sure your guys get out safe. So now the idea is, well, our position back where we started is pretty good. And the enemy's, by contrast, is also pretty beaten up. And we still have an artillery advantage, it seems like. So at this point, we're like, if we can get our armies out of here, then this is going to be great. I send these boys in as a last-minute charge. Try and hold them off. Yeah, and I broke them too. Get out of here.
Your men have been
Oh,
routed,
come
sir.
on. Break. No. Oh, Eddie. Andy got promoted. Oh, brutal. But the good news is he had to stop. And that was that. Started getting the remains of our army out of here. Gosh, look at all these chevron guns right here, just doing work. I mean, my goodness. But this is pretty hard, right? Like, he now realizes he's going to be fighting an entire division with no general, but an entire division by himself with just a brigade. A great brigade, but oh my goodness, it's still just a brigade. Plus with artillery support. If you wanted to see the Iron Brigade in action, this is what they're used for. Now, a more experienced player would probably just immediately wrap around his lines as fast as he could. But this is his first match. So the entire time I was playing with him, I always told him to do what he thought best and that I would be happy either way. Because we should have fun with people wanting to play. And they gotta learn somehow, right? Just do the best that you can. So our retreat continues. They're trying to set up lines to do this. And, but we get away pretty well. I mean, I lost 3 units. He lost 4. Kind of at the end there. So I'm not going to lie. When this ended, we felt pretty good. We were like, okay. Like, we're pretty beat up. But so are they. And we still have a whole division, a ton of artillery. Maybe we can make a second push. Maybe we can get this done. We can turn this game around. And we're really starting to believe ourselves, too. We're hyping each other up. Now's a good time. Now's a good chance. Let's just get our forces back to the hill. We'll entrench. And then we'll move off together and we'll figure something out. But if we're up there, then, you know, we don't think they'll come after us again. Right? Iron Brigade's getting out of there. They're like, no thank you. The battlefield is strewn with the dead. Oh my goodness. These thick blue lines. He's got more of his boys coming up. And you can kind of see where the battle... Oh my goodness. It's just so much. So many bodies. Alrighty. Yeah, it's potato, right? Okay. So, Army of the Mississippi. It's got a lot of boys on stack. First Corps going on, getting out of there. We've got our artillery. Enemy finally brings his artillery back out. Remember, this whole game, their artillery has not been... Since it got driven off. They brought that artillery to fire at us in the woods. But they were rifled guns. And they have to impact almost directly. Alrighty. Covering the retreat for some of our units. So these boys could get away. And I'm sitting here and I'm feeling pretty good. I've got 2 brigades, more or less. The Iron Brigade pulled out and got away, but we're feeling pretty good. We have... My ally has almost his entire division. It's beat up, yeah. But they're fresh, they're eager. He's got artillery. Enemy brings up their artillery guns. I had him shooting here. I should have had him going back to shooting the enemy's rifled guns, but... I can't hit anything. Oh well. So, you can see our battle lines are coming back. One of the things that we talked about was we were hoping we could draw them off by themselves. Because we know his units are beat up. And that's when we decided, you know what, we're not going to make for the hill. Instead, we're going to come right after him. So we decided to line back up right where we were at. And I line my regiments up in line. Because, you know, they're close. We can see they're close to breaking, or they are breaking. And that means now's a good time to go for it. Come on, you can break too.
Been routed, sir.
Oh no! Artillery's gone. Oh yeah, took major casualties. So, we get our troops back lined up. And now our idea is to swing from the exact same position to move up online and attack back the exact way that we came. But to do it as a combined effort with all 3 of us. At this point, nobody has their general left. They are dead and gone. And so it begins. I'm going to operate this as basically one solid brigade. And I'll let it play out from about here. So you guys can take a look. Ooh, that artillery shell was brutal. So I tell my teammates, I'm like, go on, right on past these guys. I'll take care of them and then I'll catch up. Because, you know, we're taking a look at pulling back with their units. Oh, brutal. So, the balance of power is significantly against us now. Well, I wouldn't say significant, but now that I look at it. But what I will say is, we felt pretty good at this point. We thought there was still going to be a chance that we could win this. And some of the things that we had to do was stick together. Now, when we see the first corps up here, oh man. Oh, look at this.
Yes, sir.
Now we see all of First Corps. So, I start telling everyone, I'm like, it's time to attack wherever the First Corps is, wherever you find them, go at them. This is it, right? This is the Union's last stand. Can the First Corps hold? Will they be able to stop the rebel onslaught? As their allies stream to the rear.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Oh. Losing units one by one. My ally comes up. And it was here. We put a unit here to block, but unfortunately, our wing isn't completed as our ally stops just short of our line. And it starts to look a little rough here. But let's see if the Union will hold. Oh man. I'm hoping by bringing my troops up super close that they'll get a volley in while they're all reloading. Yeah, nice and up close, but it doesn't pay off. People start to make a run for it. Our unit is pulled up here. Our allies doing such great work. So this is his first game, so he's done a really great job, but if he had pulled up and started to wrap around him, just being really ultra aggressive with these units. Oh, what could have been achieved here as we started to break them, right? Oh my gosh, here we go. First Corps is making a run for it. Start to advance our troops because this is where the gap is. I don't think Oh yeah, that's a smart move by him. finally getting the rest of his troops moving. Oh yeah, and look at this. We know who these boys are. The Black Hats, the 84th New York. They're going to be holding the flank. Oh, come on, boys. I myself am down to just one regiment, the 6th Florida. Oh, come on, 8th Mississippi. There goes another one. Oh, man. Starts to consolidate his lines. But it's close. It is so close. And the First Corps, everyone's pulling back. Oh yeah, here we go. He's got his line. The Union line is broken. Falling back. They still have their artillery pieces. We still have some artillery pieces. They can hit anything. But the battle rages. It's down to the wire now. Can the First Corps hold? Will they be able to? We take 3 of our troops that ran and mine that held. And we decide to line them up here and see if we can just break this unit real quick. Yeah, I gotta be real careful of this. These guys are shooting, but they're shooting into his allies. First Corps is reorganizing. Have a few units in the back. They're generals. And with those guys moving, I was like, hey, let's go. Let's attack. So I marched my brave 6th Florida to the front. Will the enemy buy it? Oh, it's coming down to the wire. Over here on the flank. Oh, we got some sharpshooters. Oh no. Should have just ignored them. Sending 2 regiments to fight sharpshooters is a waste. But that's alright. Start to pull in here. If they can pull it out. He's got his 3 regiments. Generals there. Trying to revive friendly troops, running for the rear. Yeah, there you go. Pulls them back. So at this point, you should extend your line as far as you can, because you want to start looking for that weak point. We don't really have that. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 regiments. We could do it. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. Oh, they've got some cav he was holding in reserve back here. Oh, no. Union Cavs got their swords up. The regiment doesn't even see it. Oh, no. Cav charge to the rear. Here we go. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Hold 11th Texas. Oh, no. Routing and broken. And with that. We'll fast forward here a little bit. Get to the end.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Oh, yeah, there go the rest of my cannons. Alrighty. And with that, we move our remaining units up. Oh, yeah. That's when we start to have units break. We've got these two wings, and he would be able to march through in the middle. Has some cav coming up. You know, it's not a guarantee, even if you're first corps, that your troops are going to stick around. Same to be said with these boys who are taking shots from lots of Union troops, it looks like. Got the cav coming in again. Frontal cav, cav attacks in general aren't that great.
Your men have been routed,
Even against
sir.
artillery at sometimes. Yeah, there go my boys. The last of my left wing. Running for the hills. Alrighty. Got some more cav in the back. And some more regiments, yeah. And they're going to get around on the flank. And that is the end of this battle. First Corps leads the counterattack against the remaining rebel forces on the field. And drives them. They make one last gallant charge. They fought so hard and so well. Oh yeah. He could come through and yeah, he's going to. Oh, and there they go. All right. We'll fast forward this to the end here. Once again, this is absolutely 100% one of my favorite battles to have been in. It came down to the wire, it felt like, all the way up until that last charge where we were a little too disorganized. Should have waited till we were all online again and then advanced. Maybe moving our artillery over off the hill and all ifs and would'ves and could'ves. But either way, I was real proud to have both of them as my teammates. They were a blast to play with. And all of the Union players were great too. So, yeah. So if you want to hop in and start playing with us, you can get Napoleon Total War on Steam or GOG. Probably, I would guess Steam because that's how I run the mod on. And then you can download ACW 2. It's going to be in the description down below. You can just come play with us anytime you like. We'll also have the Discord. I'm also going to include my own private War of the Rebellion Discord. So that way we can play with a little bit looser rules than the more strict rules that the ACW likes to play with. So if you want to play in the ACW Discord, that will be in the link in the description below. If you'd like to come to the War of the Rebellion, there's nobody there right now, so you would be the first. So by all means, come by and we can hang out. And then, yeah, come play ACW with us. It is a fantastic mod. Alrighty, here is the end screen as we take a look. Oh my goodness. We have, wow. First Corps was still going strong. It would have been hard to topple them. But the rest of these suffered enormous casualties. I'm really quite proud. Only getting 1,500, less than 1,500 kills. That's bad. Thank you. He was also having to fight all sorts of stuff. Man. Really dealing the damage here. Look at this. Took 3,900 casualties out of 4,800. Dealt almost 4,000 casualties. Oh, gosh, right? I was just kept trying to break him. Held off wonderfully. So some of these was just, this was just darn right. Darn right. This was just a fantastic match. I'm absolutely happy that I got to be a part of it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to come play with us, by all means, everything is going to be down in the description below. Oh, wow. Look at this. 7th Florida really getting it to them. 6th Florida. Woo. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they were completely annihilated. I deployed 235 and lost 235. Oh, wow. So, pretty fantastic. All right. So, with that in mind, by all means, thanks for watching, my fellow mush eaters, and I'll catch you in the next episode. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
I can feel your eyes on me.